Have you seen Emily in Paris? Because I have, and I'm a little triggered.
Here we go.
Hi, I'm Karim. I'm a creator and entrepreneur living in the Netherlands, trying to give you a good perspective on what it's like to actually live here. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, popular culture, specifically Emily in Paris. You might think, why the hell is this guy qualified to talk about a show like Emily in Paris? You probably don't know that much about my background. I come from a media and communication background. I specifically did a bachelor's in media and communication here at Erasmus University Rotterdam, specializing in media culture and society and media and entertainment. So if anyone's going to talk about shitty representation in shows, it's probably going to be me. And given that I did my thesis on Pretty Little Liars and representation of surveillance, I'd call myself a bit of an expert. Stay tuned for that video later on. Before we go further, I just want to say this is not an analysis video of Emily in Paris. It's just a few of my thoughts on their representation of Dutch people in general. This has no shade to Emily in Paris. It's one of my favorite shows. No shade to Darren Star. No shade to any of the creators. I think it's a fabulous show and I really enjoy it, also as someone who speaks French and has a background in French culture. But when you talk about Dutch people, yeah, no. Spider-Man Far From Home did a better job, and they did a very stereotypical football thing.
You guys are nice. You speak really good English.
Welcome to the Netherlands.
But yeah, why? Why do I think it is? Why do you think that's important? We'll figure it out as this video goes on. A couple of things stand out to me when I think of the dude that played the Dutch guy in Emily in Paris. First of all, there's that scene that we all know with the ice cream and the languages.
Speak Italian as well as English, French and Dutch.
German and a little Japanese.
Wow.
If you're from the Netherlands, you better learn to speak a lot of languages because nobody speaks Dutch.
Jesus, oh my god, that triggered me like hell. Because to be completely honest, most of the Dutch people that I know speak maybe 2 languages, if you're lucky. A lot of them just speak Dutch and don't feel the need to learn something else. If you're lucky, you speak Dutch and English, and if you're very, very lucky, they speak English quite well. But that whole, I speak 4 languages and I can speak more thing? No. If anyone's actually lived here, unless you're part of the international bubble of people that have traveled around or worked abroad for whatever reason, or are half French, half Spanish, stuff like that, you know that your good old, nice, average Dutch person isn't like that. So, just a little side note, Dutch people are forced to learn a 3rd language in school, usually either French or German. But how much do you actually remember out of that once you leave the school? I mean, I remember my French, but that's because I went to a French school when I was very young, so it's kind of stuck with me. But I think if you really don't utilize language that much, eventually it gets away from you. So people might speak 2.5 languages, let's put it that way. But that's really not shade to Dutch people. It's just something that I've observed in society, in most of the people I've met. And I don't claim to be an expert in any way. This is just, I guess, a perspective. Another scene was when we get the dude with Sylvie and it's like, your coffee and your bikes. Yo, wait.
You Dutch like your coffee and your bikes, huh?
I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who thought that, as someone who lives here in the Netherlands. When you talk about bikes here, you're not talking about motorbikes. You're not talking about motorcycles. You're talking about actual legit bikes. So that whole photo with him on a motorcycle in Amsterdam, to me that makes no sense. But hey, like I said, just my opinion. Also, yeah, Dutch people love coffee. I get it. We all love coffee. We all drink coffee at least twice a day. But is that necessarily specifically a Dutch thing? I don't think so. Something like a joke with Rutte or bitterballen or something about Dutch politics or some Dutch saying that they could have included in some funny way would have made more sense. What really stands out to me as part of what's happening with Emily in Paris is a deep lack of awareness of what Dutch culture is. And that's not really something we're used to with Netflix. When Netflix chooses to portray cultures, there's usually, at least I'd like to think, a good team of researchers behind it. And I understand it was a side character, it wasn't meant to be anything huge or something. But still, like, you can really see that it's almost a stereotypical idea of what someone from cities in the Netherlands is particularly like. But like I said, just an opinion. Another thing that really sort of stings with me is the accent. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to the Netherlands, but if you're already here, you know what I'm talking about. Most Dutch people, unless they're super, super young, and I mean teenagers or people at uni that are really exposed to people that speak English all the time, sound like this.
This is what you want me to sound like? Huh? We go on a first date or I meet your parents? Like, hello, my name is Karel, I'm from Holland.
Well, the guy on the show, Soren Bergendal, God bless his soul, I think he's Danish, and forgive me if I butchered the pronunciation, I do not speak Danish, sounds like this.
So you want me as your secret lover?
I feel like the pronunciation was particularly light. It was meant to be a very understandable, very simple, and I get that in the context of the show, that it can't be too intense, because not everybody understands like non-classically spoken English, right? So yeah, I get the idea behind it, but would it have killed you to add a few Dutch mannerisms there? Have someone from your office over in Amsterdam look at it? Or even hire like all of those amazing Dutch actors that I'm sure you can afford. There are Dutch actors out there, people of Dutch descent at least, or people that were actually born here, that can give you a proper example of that accent. Even though they got a lot of things wrong, they also got quite a bit right. I think the general look of the character, the whole blonde-haired, blue-eyed, kind of tall thing, does work. And it is relatively Dutch, but I don't know, maybe that's just me having grown up watching things like Gossip Girl, The Vampire Diaries, Sex and the City. I expected someone hotter. I expected someone a bit more attractive. Like Michelle Haussmann, for example. What I think this really represents is the idea of European romanticism by American media. So, have you ever seen a movie that has Paris, right? There's this whole romantic vibe, usually the sort of rose-colored lens of everything is so awesome here, everything is so cute, so trendy. Here are our croissants, here's our baguette, here's our sort of beret. And it just creates this picturesque version of Paris that makes you really, really want to live there, especially as sort of the American vision of Paris. And to be completely honest, as someone who has spent quite a bit of time in the actual Paris, Emily in Paris is really guilty of that idea of projecting this idea onto Paris, because we get to see that world through the lens of someone like Emily, who's in love with the idea. And there's this whole, things are so awesome here, and I love my life here because it's big and European and exciting. And life in Europe is great, believe me, I love it, but I wouldn't necessarily call it that. So, we've talked today about Emily in Paris and its portrayal of Dutch people. Do I love the show? Yes. Did I love the portrayal? Not so much. I feel like it really gives the wrong idea to someone who wants to move here and will probably run into actual Dutch people. But that's probably like, I don't know, 10% of the people that watch the show. So it's not that particularly relevant. It's just something that bugged me as someone who actually lives here and is exposed to Dutch people, which is why I wanted to talk about it. So, if you like this video, like popular culture, personal growth, entrepreneurship, stuff like that, then this is really the channel for you. Make sure to like and subscribe because yeah, we need to appease the YouTube gods or otherwise I'm gonna disappear off of this channel. I look forward to seeing you next time and hopefully we'll do more videos like this, more pop culture, more focused, more relaxed. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. And without further ado, I hope you have a super duper day. Stay kind to each other, connect to yourself, stay connected, stay balanced, and sort of move on with life with a cheery and happy attitude. And I hope this video really made you smile. All right, have a good one. Till next time.